Hello and welcome to our webinar today. Amazon Top 5 Footwear Seller continues to innovate with NetSuite. Before we get started, I'd like to just share a few logistics. We're all going to be on mute except for the panelists. You can, though, ask questions during the webinar, and we'll get those answered at the end during Q&A. And if for chance we can't get to all of those questions, what we're going to do is email them to you. Also, we're going to have this recorded, and we will be sending you a link to the recording. So we're very excited today to have with us Lee Cappiello, Director of IT at Orva, and Jordan Sellers, the Delivery Manager at Myers-Holum. So without further ado, let me have you more properly introduce yourself, Lee.
Sure, thanks, Rebecca. Happy to be here. Lee Cappiello, I'm the Director of IT here at Orva. I have a long background working in IT for different retailers in the apparel, supermarket, soft lines areas, and joined Orva about 2 years ago. My primary task here at Orva has been to work on our NetSuite project. So happy to share with you our experience in that journey and our experience working with Myers-Holum.
Excellent. And what about you, Jordan?
Hi, everyone. Glad to be here. Thanks so much for putting this together, Rebecca. Jordan Sellers here. I'm a delivery manager with Myers-Holum based in New York City. Being a delivery manager means that I get to work with a team of 11 rockstar implementation consultants spread across North America. And as a team, we implement NetSuite ERP for a variety of clients. With my background also being in apparel retail, we typically focus on customers like Orva who are in that space. And I've been with the firm for a little over 5 years now, and happy to be here. So thank you.
Let me also say that in addition to the 11 you have working with you directly, we have almost 400 strong now at Myers-Holum. Isn't that right?
That's right. It's been a wonderful journey building up to that number. So in terms of agenda for today, I think we've got introductions out of the way. Would love to move now into Orva and just hearing a little bit from Lee about the business, the goals, the drivers, and what it is that they do at the end of the day. From there, we're going to go to how NetSuite actually supports Orva in their business and day-to-day operations. Then I'm going to talk just a little bit about Myers-Holum's ERP implementation methodology, and then we'll have time for questions at the end. So without further ado, Lee, over to you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jordan. So at Orva, it's a family-owned third generation business based here in Lower Manhattan in New York City. Been in business since 1948, primarily selling footwear. And today we are the number one third-party seller of footwear on the Amazon platform. We had before 2010, as a company, we had a number of retail stores and made a corporate decision to move away from the brick and mortar and into the e-com space, and particularly on the Amazon fulfilled by Amazon FBA platform. We were one of the early movers on that platform. And so today, more than 95% of our sales is done through Amazon. We sell footwear, probably 80% of our business is footwear. And then we have some apparel, accessories, and we're also moving into some other categories like sporting goods and outdoor. We work very closely with our brand partners. We represent over 100, 150 brand partners, well-known names, household names that you would know. And we represent them as a third-party seller on the Amazon platform. We work with them to do exclusive products, but also to represent their full line and make sure that we have merchandise in place for the customers to buy. We'll talk about the business model a little bit, but we're very, very happy with our positive feedback and our presence on Amazon. In terms of our business model, we purchase directly from from our vendors. We purchase new merchandise. So obviously we need a system that handles all that purchasing functionality. So that's one of the things that we're doing with NetSuite. So we purchase merchandise directly from those manufacturers. We own it. We bring it into one of our regional distribution centers, and then based on sales need and seasonality and all those kinds of things, we ship and allocate shipment into Amazon. Once it's in the Amazon ecosystem, Amazon customers are able to purchase our merchandise directly from Amazon. So Amazon takes the order, does the fulfillment, does the shipping to the customer, does all the customer service and returns, all that type of thing. So from a customer perspective, they are, Amazon Prime customers. They get all the benefits of the Amazon shipping and customer returns and things like that. So Amazon is a big partner with us for our business.
So Lee, could you give us some of the key business drivers for your evaluation when you were trying to decide on NetSuite or any ERP, and what challenges kind of led you up to looking at NetSuite?
Sure, and you can see some of the high level goals that we're showing here on the screen. We about 2 years ago had some investments into our company from private equity firms, and with the goal of increasing our business and driving our business to new heights. And one of the things that they looked at initially was what we have in our technology stack today and where we need to go. And when I joined the company, it was a new position. And as I said, one of my main goals was to find a new ERP that would really meet some of the challenges that we have today and really set us up for the future. So we did an evaluation of some different ERP systems, and really came away with the feeling that NetSuite was where we wanted to be. And we had talked to NetSuite and were introduced to several implementation partners, and really had a good feeling about Myers-Holum and capabilities that you guys provide, and have brought you guys along as really partners and implementation experts in our journey into NetSuite. So we really don't have any NetSuite expertise in house. I mean, myself personally, I've done ERP implementations in the past in my career, but I'm not a NetSuite. I don't have any NetSuite technical expertise. My expertise is on the more general IT side and the business side. So we really need IT or NetSuite technical expertise, and that's what we really found, and has been a great partnership with Myers-Holum. But just some of our goals, we're looking for best-in-class technology. We're looking for real-time integrations. So our old systems were adequate, but really did not have good integration with our platform on Amazon. So there was a lot of uploading files and downloading files and spreadsheets. We also didn't have integration with our vendor partners. So there was a lot of emails and, again, more spreadsheets. So our goal really was to be able to leverage all of the integration opportunities that we could get with NetSuite. In the past, we had on-premise servers. We had separate systems for our merchandising teams and our finance teams. So as you can imagine, always a difficulty to find one version of the truth. A lot of manual processes going on. We have systems running here in our office on physical servers that were nearing end of life. So we needed to be retiring those physical servers, moving into a cloud-based system like NetSuite. And as I said again, we had no automatic integrations with our vendors, with our distribution centers, with Amazon. We could not really, think about some of the new areas of our business in terms of functionality that we wanted to address, and we're really maxing out on our manual processes. We had a lot of people that were doing a lot of manual processes that we knew that automation would help us to find more productive roles for those folks.
So in terms of actually selecting NetSuite over other ERP systems, did it matter that, say, it was a cloud system, or are there other features that made a difference in your selection?
Definitely, we wanted something that was going to be cloud based, that we wouldn't have to rely on physical servers here on premises, and that as we're growing, we have a much more remote workforce. I mean, aside from the issues in the last couple of years with the pandemic, we've still, just in general, started to hire people based on their expertise, not necessarily based on their location. So we have a lot more remote work going on. So we wanted to have something that was cloud-based and accessible from anywhere. We wanted to be with our market leader like Oracle, who is constantly innovating and adding to their product. We wanted to be with a company that would have an ecosystem, and maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but but an ecosystem of functionality that surrounds the main core product. I think we'll get into that in a little bit.
Okay.
Those
And
were our
what,
key drivers, I would say, in terms of software selection.
okay, and what about Myers-Holum?
Yeah, so I mean, Myers-Holum, came to us highly recommended as a top tier partner from NetSuite. We like the fact that they're based here in New York City, so for us, the geographic proximity was important, and really we were impressed with the fact that Myers-Holum is a lot of experienced people, consultants that would come bring to the project a lot of retail experience. So that was important to us as well.
Thank you, Lee. Oh, I now have another question on, NetSuite features and functionality. Could you tell me a little about your current system landscape and what the implementation process was like?
Sure. So as you see on the slide here, one of the key things for us is NetSuite is going to, or is replacing our existing financial system and merchandising system. So NetSuite will be the core business system for us in terms of all of our purchasing, our inventory, our sales, our finances. So it's really at the core of everything that we do from a business ERP system. It's very important to us. Some of the other things you see on there, EDI integration. So we partnered with SPS Commerce for EDI. So we're doing EDI integrations with our 150 plus vendors. So we're sending them POs, and we're receiving back ASNs and invoices electronically. So in the past, that was all a very manual, email-based process. So that really frees us up, and also, enhances our accuracy. We had a lot of manual error. Manual processor tend to be error prone. So we like the fact that everything is going to be handled through EDI. We're also doing EDI through SPS with our third-party distribution centers in terms of transfer orders and shipping and receiving. So that in the past had all been file-based and spreadsheet-based, and sending emails back and forth and trying to understand inventory positions. And you can just imagine the amount of manual effort that would go into something like that. all of our third-party warehouses. We have, at the moment, we have 7 third-party warehouses spread throughout the country. They all have their own warehouse management systems that we connect to, but going forward through SBS, we're going to be doing that electronically. Those transactions fed directly back into NetSuite. So we have a better, more accurate, more timely picture of our inventory through EDI. And then when it comes to the Amazon integrations, we found a company called Mobility E-commerce that has their own Suite app. And as I mentioned earlier, the Suite app is one of the great things about NetSuite, is that there's a lot of other software companies that have built apps around NetSuite for specific functionality. And these guys from Mobility E-commerce have a great product that is helping us to automate all of our connections with our Amazon FBA Seller Central landscape. So those integrations include all of our shipments to Amazon, all of our sales, all of our inventory adjustments to really make it streamlined and real time. Those integrations are running on a real time basis, so we know, in NetSuite, we know sales immediately. In the past, when we were doing a manual process, we would pick up sales once a day, and that was a manual process. So if someone who was supposed to do that was sick or unavailable, somebody else had to make sure it got done, and it wasn't timely at all for our merchants and our executives. So there was a lot of delay in terms of reporting. So now with NetSuite and our integrations up and running, those connectors are running on a real-time basis. We have a real-time picture of how sales are doing, how inventory is flowing. Just gives us a much better picture. And then our other partner that in the project, of course, is Myers-Holum. And so we had a great team from Myers-Holum doing the implementation from, and Jordan's going to get into, I think, the specifics of the project a little bit, but they've been key partners straight from the beginning over the course of the past year, getting us to where we're at today, and making all these things work, right? Getting NetSuite set up, working with our EDI partners, our integration partners. So they've been our IT team in terms of getting this project done.
What about you, Jordan? Could you tell us a little bit about the implementation from your perspective?
Be nice,
Sure.
Jordan.
How could I not be? It was really a pleasure working with Orva on the implementation. We had a great team of consultants that were able to be there, on site and in person, and really offer, over the shoulder and white glove service in many ways. Key aspects of the team being accounting expertise, right? Our principal consultant, Mark, is a CPA, and was really able to connect on the ground floor with the accounting and finance team at Orva. And we also had a star, staff consultant in Arifa, who was really able to drive data migration, which was critical on this project with, so many SKUs in the assortment being offered by Orva, and some complex mappings and needs for updates as we moved through the project. We'll get into a little bit more in a moment about, some lessons learned and kind of key things to watch out for in these kinds of projects.
Could you summarize for me some of the key impact it had implementing this ERP and what some of the benefits you've gotten already from that?
Sure. So we have teams of people in different areas whose day-to-day job involves essentially manual processes. So, for example, in our finance team, they are we have people that are entering invoices manually into our old, or we're entering into our old financial systems. That was their primary job. So we would get a emailed invoice, and when you're talking about the scale that we're operating at, we have thousands of invoices come in every month. We have a team of people their only job is to manually enter an invoice. So now with NetSuite, with EDI, those invoices flow in, they get posted in NetSuite, they get matched in NetSuite. So the team really is managing exceptions. So they're not having to key in every invoice, potentially making errors. So it's really enabled them to focus on higher value activities. And the same thing goes in our merchant team. So in terms of writing POs and looking at receipts, those things all had to be entered manually. When we generate sales reports, it's you can only look at the day before because that's all you've got. In terms of shipping into Amazon, we have an operations team, and their goal all day long. We have about 4 people on that team that their goal all day long was to create shipments to Amazon based on the need that we saw. It's a very manual process, and we're in the process of automating. I wouldn't say we're 100% there yet, but we've achieved a lot of automation in that process as well, so that those shipments get sent to Amazon. When I say shipments, the electronic request to create a shipment to Amazon is getting generated automatically now.
So I wanted to also ask you, what are your future plans for NetSuite? It sounds like you've implemented a lot and you're working on.
Yeah, I mean, we've been really busy this year, just trying to get the basic. I say basic, but it's not that basic. I mean, it's basically running the business as we know it today in terms of our ERP, finance. To run the basics of our business and to replace some of our old systems. It's been a big challenge, and Jordan and the team from Myers-Holum have been a big part of that over the course of the last year. So I don't mean to minimize that. The reason, as I said earlier, that we wanted to go with NetSuite is so that we could do the other things that we really cannot do today. So what's in front of you here is a roadmap of the things we want to address in the next year to 2 years. So BI, data warehouse, analytics. We do, from a transportation and warehouse management standpoint, we even today we route all of our freight manually. So we're routing all pickups from our vendors into our 3PL. Working with different carriers. So that's another area where we want to pick a system that's already integrated with NetSuite. So there's a number of companies that have already built this out that we're going to be looking at. Point of sale. So we have one physical store here in New York City, still running on our old system. So we're going to look to replace that. And then probably for us, the biggest piece is planning and allocation. So today we really still rely on spreadsheets to bring that all together to determine what's the need of merchandise that we need to allocate into Amazon. There's a number of really good third-party vendors that have suite apps already built that we want to look at, that we've already been talking to. And we expect that with NetSuite as the core of our system, that we'll be able to really leverage commercial products that are already out there that are built with NetSuite integrations already developed, so that we really can take advantage. We don't have to start from scratch. We don't have to create integrations to NetSuite. Those guys already have products that are integrated to NetSuite. So a lot of exciting things we can do in the future. But we need to get the foundation laid first, and that was really part of the driving force of retiring our older systems and moving into NetSuite.
And by the way, Lee, I was actually at the store with the point of sale in New York City the other day. It was looking great. So in terms of lessons learned, I think we see these factors time and time again on many of our projects. And again, just to reiterate, I think the Orva team kind of came prepared with some expectations in these areas, and so really, was ready to apply these lessons, from the beginning and kind of refine as we go. Certainly in terms of collaboration and resource allocation, super important that on this project we were able to really implement our collaborative methodology and work together with the team to implement the software as opposed to going away and building something and bringing it back to the Orva team and presenting it to them. That tends not to work out too well. And the fact that when we were working with the Orva team, we were working with the right folks and who really understood the business inside and out in the key areas that we were implementing with was critical. In terms of scope, the fact that the Orva team was able to work with one of our top solution architects to really clearly define scope at the beginning so that the delivery team was clear on the work that they had to do, and that we were able to then support some change management along the way, both organizational change management in terms of adopting the new system, but also change control throughout the implementation project and making sure that we stayed kind of on time, on budget, and within defined scope parameters was really critical. And it was great to really have a clearly defined scope from the Orva team in that regard. And then finally, in terms of testing, I love that test, retest, and then test again is on this slide because I really couldn't say it better over and over again. It is so important to test and get real validation from real end users that are going to be using the system. That yes, this does indeed work for their day-to-day process. I love also that that's repeated because testing does need to be repeated and done in iterations. And so in this particular case, we actually did some additional rounds of testing in certain key areas to make sure that we really got things right on day one. Thanks again to the Orva team for partnering with us in these areas. And I'll leave it at that for now. I know we're really at the end of our time together today, but I think maybe we can hopefully make a minute or two here for questions.
Thank you, Jordan. Yes, we do have a few questions. We'll do those via email, except for let's just take one. I think this was an important one to answer. Lee, if you had any recommendations you were going to give to a company adopting a cloud ERP, what would those be?
So I think one is you want to find the right ERP for your business. And one of the things about NetSuite that I've found is that it's really flexible for a lot of different types of businesses. And it's got a great ecosystem of apps built around it that can provide additional functionality that you're inevitably going to need that will be integrated into one common system, so you don't have multiple systems working around. And really get commitment from executive management in terms of the budget and the timeline and organizational commitment. I mean, it's a big change management project. You're changing the jobs of most of the people in the organization. So there's training issues, there's career paths for people that are changing. So there's a lot to take into account besides just technology and things. And in terms of the actual deployment of the project, Jordan talked about testing. I think we did 4 rounds of UAT with Myers-Holum each one got better and better. And when we went live, we did a soft go live, so we didn't turn off our old systems. So we were running our old systems and new systems at the same time. That can be a challenge too, because you're asking people sometimes, in some cases, do double work. But it really is invaluable in terms of minimizing risk to the business while you're building those capabilities, and really being able to validate that what you've built is going to work, and that you're eliminating all the pain points as you go. And it's a process, right? We're live, but we still have things that we're working on. We still have ways to go, and we have other things that we want to do next year.
I appreciate that answer, and both of you for your time today. Thank you so much, Lee, and thank you so much, Jordan. It's really great to have you, and it feels like we just touched on everything, that we could have another couple hours and still not get to everything that we should. But thank you for your time today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Okay. Thank you, Rebecca. Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks so much for being here.